Greetings, Patrick here, 8 questions with, and crossing our fingers that we can get through today. It's been rough. StreamYard is just, I don't think it's our guests that have been having a problem. I think it's StreamYard. It took me 25 minutes just to sign into StreamYard. They wouldn't let me come in. Uh, they, uh, when I went to set up the studio because we're having two guests tonight, it wouldn't let me do the layout. It was just a pain in a royal ass. Um, hey Tony, how are you? It was just a pain in the royal ass today to get on. So crossing my fingers today. We have two guests tonight. We have two guests. We're going to be talking with. Come on, you just have to give it up, um, dude and dudettes. Seriously, have we ever had a cooler name than Salem come on our show as a guest name? I mean, every time I see, honestly, and it's no fault of anybody's, but man, every time I hear the word Salem, all I think is this talking black cat. And I know we're supposed to be thinking about Salem, Massachusetts, and all that, but it's like Sam. It's like if someone says, "Hey Sam," the first thing you think of is you know, Trick or Treat or Art. You think of Art the Clown. It's like one of those great horror names that you just love and secretly are jealous of, right? So we're going to be talking with filmmaker Salem the Beta and her compadre Brandon Arupsa. They have starred in Control Freak and Matched. I caught some of Control Freak and very earnest, very earnest. I'm going to do a proper review after the show. I did think that there's definitely a lot of heart in the movie, so we'll be talking about that. And yeah, and if you want to know who they are, in their own words, I went ahead and because I asked for a little information, and Salem sent me this. I said, you know what? I'm going to leave that up as my introduction for these two artists. Okay, so as you know, yesterday was absolutely a mind blower here. We couldn't get our guest, which I actually think is actually a blessing in disguise. I'm not sure if I've ever said that before about losing a guest, but quite honestly, it worked out because I want to talk to all three of these guys together. Preston, David, and Neil. I want them all together for Brimstone. So we're going to make that happen. I'm going to see if we can make that happen in October. Yeah, we're going to be taking September off. September, we're going to take off, except for maybe one or two shows, maybe. But otherwise, I'm taking September off. I got some things I want to do. Just rethink what I'm doing again, because it seems like losing traction here on YouTube as far as we have fantastic guests. I mean, I cannot be more pleased with that. With the guest wise, I mean, some fantastic people come through the doorway, and it's just frustrating that there's no one there to see them. So I got to think about what I'm doing, and see if we can somehow change that around a little bit. And even the replays, you want to definitely get the replays out there, let people know what we're doing. Um, it's so weird. It's so weird in the fact that you advertise on Facebook, and a lot of times people are there at Facebook and they'll even click on the link that you post there, but more often than not, the person linking it is not they're not part of YouTube. They're not signed in. They're reading what you wrote, or watching what they're watching you, but they're not counting you because you're not signed in. So that's a little bit of a frustration right there too. And and I don't want to, of course, the biggest thing is, we've talked about this before. And that is, of course, if you really want numbers to go up, you just talk about all the popular movies. Nah, oh, thank you. Not doing that at all. You know, I've had discussions, a lot of discussions with fellow creators, and that works for some people. You know, they're chasing that YouTube money. So so they're jumping through the hoops for it. I understand that. That's just, that's some people's jam, and I'm all for it. I mean, when I turn around and I see good friends cracking 30,000 or 16,000, I'm all happy for them. I'm like, hell yeah, more power to you. Um, but then when I hear another creator say, I have 40,000, I have 38,000 subs, and I'm making $200 a month. I'm just like, man, why are you busting your ass for that? That's just ridiculous. I mean, 38,000 subscribers, and if you have the engagement to back it, man, that should be easily worth $1,000 a month right there. I mean, without even thinking about it. I mean, the first of the month, ka-ching, there you go. Minus the taxes. Um, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. But you see good, hardworking people, and they're hitting that 38,000. I mean, and it makes you here you are, from I'll use me, of course, as an example. We're just barely trying to get to 1900. Not that we're trying to make the money, but we're just trying to get to 1900, and just to climb a little bit. And then you hear a creator who's got wonderful content. I mean, the content that this person puts out, it's really good. It's really good. It's helpful. It helps us as a society. It's a beneficial channel. It's not entertainment channel. It's a lifestyle channel. And yet here they are, worked their asses off, 38,000 subscribers, $200. And now that's even going to be rougher coming next year when you got to double whatever you're doing. So I mean, if you're cruising around at 3,500, view hours, what have you, and you're meeting the maximum, you got the over 1,000 subs, so you can do live streams or whatever. And all of a sudden now the new one is like now, and you're doing shorts. They want you to do shorts. Boy, do they want you to do shorts. To do shorts, okay. I've done a few shorts lately. Um, but I don't get any benefit from it. I mean, it's not like people are rushing over going like, oh my God, I saw your 30 seconds of your cheetah. How do I hit that sub button? I don't see any of that action. So I really should. He is a cheetah after all. Um, so yeah, it's just gonna make it, it's gonna make it harder for create content creators and what have you. Um, but I'm glad for other reasons. I mean, I mean, YouTube. I mean, they have been a little bit more relaxed when it comes down to letting content creators showcase their work. For Salem and Brandon, their movie, uh, uh, Control Freak. You can watch it on their channel. It's a free movie. It's theirs. They uploaded it. They're not going to get in trouble for it. They're not going to get a strike because copyright, or it's their movie, and they're able to play it. So I mean, it's still a struggle, but let's see. So yesterday, briefly, we got to talk to Jamie Hill. Of course, we talked to Jamie Hill yesterday, and she will be here Thursday with Steve Merlo, and we're going to be talking about their film Unseen. So that'll be really cool, to talk to them. Yeah, because it's been a while since we've had Steve on here. It's been a long time. He was here and talked to us about. He was here and talked to us about the Sawyer massacre. Let's see. So who did I meet yesterday? Oh, we got to talk for the first time. We got to talk to Eric Vornoff. He's an actor. He'll be playing in Will Colossal's The Killer Pizza Man. And it sounds like they're getting ready for an October shoot. So I got to talk to him yesterday. Got to say hi to Jamie, and I can't wait to talk to her again. She's such a delightful lady, Jamie Hill. What a hard worker too. I mean, she's just darling as hell. Super stoked that she's in such a huge hit. I mean, that's just, that's a legacy kind of show, a legacy kind of movie for an actor, when they get cast in a movie that pops. And Jamie did that. She got to do that with Skinner Morenik, but I think Boneyard Racers is where it's at. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be pumping that because I really love to see that. Boneyard Races, I love to see that get turned into a feature. And I know Jamie would probably be one of the cast members in that. That would be very cool. Yeah, I'm still talking about that movie. What can I say? Speaking of talking about movies, so some of you guys may realize that we're not doing Sharks versus Slock this season. Um, yeah, we were sort of I gotta say we were sort of forcing it. Uh, we wanted to do it, but someone didn't want to play nice. Yeah, I'm still harping on you, Eric. Give me two Louisa Warren pictures, you're gonna hear it. Of course, it wasn't malicious. God, no, he wouldn't do that. But I got to tell him today, and I was so happy to because him and I were sitting there going like, I'm sort of burned out on sharks. And I said, yeah, I'm doing Shark Week for content. I'm just looking for some laughs. I'm looking for some laughs. Um, I got two good shark movies up there, and I got two that I'll probably be getting blocked if I haven't already been blocked already. Um, but I went ahead and I fired up a movie that I was trying to get to. I was trying to get to Eric for last year's Sharks and Schlock, but I had misnamed it. I thought it was called the Blue Demon, but it was called the Black Demon. And I got a copy of that movie not that long ago. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and that's going to be one, I'm going to cover this for Shark Week. Has Josh Lucas in the lead role. He's one of my favorite actors. Um, I'm going to go with this. I mean, this, how good will it be? Pretty damn good, if you ask me. Really good. I was very pleasantly surprised how good it was. It was exciting. Um, I not even like I mentioned during my review, because I pulled it. I was going to put it on Shark Week, but that movie is so good that I moved it to Dollar Theater. So I'm going to be posting that up here. I'm going to be doing a Dollar Theater review in 2 3 weeks. But that movie was banging. It's like I put that in the level as Jaws and of The Shallows. It really was good and really different. Not You haven't seen anything quite like this yet. Um, and then I heard that they're going to be making a sequel. Now, most of the time for sequels, especially short movies, you take a big risk. You know, sometimes it works. Jaws 2 probably being the best example of that. Jaws 2 that's my jam right there. That's the movie I like. I know everybody likes the first Jaws, and the first Jaws definitely is exciting and what have you, and it's legendary. But Jaws 2 was just a lot more human and just to me a lot more scarier in a lot of ways. And I like how Roy Scheider came back for it. I mean, he manned up and came back for it, and I thought he did a great job as the Chief Brody. I thought Jaws 2 has always been one of my favorite sequels. Um, I'm hoping that they keep the heart of what made the Black Demon so good. If they do a sequel, I hope that they keep that because it's pretty damn exciting and it's very very rare to get a short movie that actually has heart and emotion in it. Most of the time, it's just fodder. what was that? Dragon's Teeth or Dragon's Mouth or whatever. And it's just everybody gets picked off one by one by one by one. You know, it's I, yeah. Uh, it's the same. Oh, even when they do play it straight, right? Even when they do play the shark movie straight, it's um, you know, it's there's just not very many of those around. So I was very pleasantly surprised with Black Demon. I will be reviewing one more fun shark movie. It'll probably be from our good pal Mark Polonia. Um, I'm going to do that because the Shark Week is supposed to be nothing but fun. But I highly recommend, and I'll be beating the drum for it when the Black Demon comes up there. I'll have you guys come over there and check that out. Um, very cool movie. Speaking of movies, and today was Library Day. Yes, Library Day happened again. And if you saw my video, you will see I am still. I feel like a gold miner, and I've struck gold. Um, we have just had a great run as of late. This whole summer has been pretty much, I think the only 1 week that didn't work was a bag sale that nothing I didn't get anything. But I think that's been the last thing that's happened. I have been getting cool stuff every week now for the last couple of months, and today was no different. Um, the library put out more of this video store that closed. They donated all their old movies. They donated them all to the library, which is really cool. All right, our guest is here, so let's go and say hi. All right, Team Control Freak, but your camera is not on.
Oh no.
There it is. There's the camera.
Hello.
Yay! Team Control Freak.
My
I like
doggy
the
made a
sound.
cameo.
Huh?
My doggy is making a cameo.
Oh, I see that. I see that. So not only do we get a cool dog making a cameo, but we also get to talk to the guest with the coolest name ever in the history of Eight Questions with.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. I mean that's just that's how it happens.
Right.
Um, but I'm glad you guys are here. I want to say hi to Brandon as well.
Hello. Hello.
Let's see.
Are
We'll
we
make sure.
breaking up or are you getting our quality okay?
Nope, I see you guys perfectly fine, and your dog is your dog is really saying hello. Hi,
Yes.
what's your puppy's name?
His name is Balder. He's the god of sunshine in Norse mythology, but I did not name him. Um, he, like myself, was just gifted a cool name. So
Okay, okay.
he's a
Uh,
rescue.
yeah, I see what you're talking about the frozen part here. Yeah, I hear you fine. Um, but yeah, let me. Hey, Lady Valerie, how are you? Um, let me know if you guys can hear Salem and Brandon fine. Let me know. Give me a one if you can hear them.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello.
Uh, so yeah, I we've had some really nightmare runs the last couple of weeks with StreamYard. It's really getting pretty intolerable actually.
It
I
could
have to
be
use.
our camera, I feel like, though.
No, it's probably them. It's probably them. We had problems with them last night. I had problems getting in today. I took me 25 minutes to set up my studio, which normally takes me like 3 minutes to do, and it took me 25 minutes. I had to go and out and back like 4 or 5 times just to be able to get it, get my studio up and running. It's their fault. They're I don't know. I mean, they bought the company. Now they seem to be wanting to spend the less money for it. and it's been a lot of problems have been just popping up. It's making it really difficult now to use. So, um, and as far as the glitches go, honest to hell, um, there should be no problems at all on the East Coast. The West Coast is still a little bit rocky, but East Coast you should be running smooth as a smooth as a feather. But let's get talking a little bit because um, yeah, because you guys are based in Massachusetts, right?
No.
No, not at all. We're in Delaware.
Yep.
Well, that's sort of like well, that's not that far away from Massachusetts, right? I mean, you could drive. Can you from
Uh,
Delaware? Can you go
six
to Boston, New York?
six and a
Uh,
half hours to
oh,
Salem.
is it really? It doesn't look like that when you look at it. If you don't look at a map, it doesn't look like that far. It looks like it's like, oh, that's just a jump up the freeway.
Right.
Um,
When the
but
weather.
6.5 hours away. Okay, but is that still for you and your film company? I mean, is that still close enough for you to shoot your movies outside or do you make it a point of pride to make your film in Delaware? Because you don't hear that too often, that term, Delaware filmmaker.
Yeah.
In fact, I think you're my first. Um, is there a good community, a film community in Delaware, or do you find yourself having to drive or to recruit outside Delaware for crew and actors?
So we definitely had to recruit outside of Delaware, but there is a really a nice community. It's called DIF, Delaware Independent Filmmakers. So they're on Facebook, and they do meet up, and they'll have share different tricks of the trade and offer different perspectives. So they're really good. We found a close group of people there that we really like.
Yeah, I know that there are some towns it is a little bit harder to draw, to find the talent because it's just because the size of the town, the economics of it. There's a lot of reasons why some states, some smaller states, they do have to go outside to get their actors and their crew. But what are some of the good things about shooting in Delaware? I mean, did have you always been based there? Is this your home state, or are you or did you move there?
I grew up.
Yeah. So Brandon grew up in Delaware. I moved here about 12 years ago from New Jersey.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Any
Um,
project normally wrote was always set in Delaware because I just always loved the idea of Delaware being in movies because you don't hear that, like you said.
Yeah, it's
Ever.
not used often. In fact, our movie that the Control Freak movie, we left it very unknown where it was located, but in the sequel, we very much want to put like Delaware landmarks because they are a lot. Some of the I don't know exactly all like the logistics behind it, but there was some state funding that was passed for Delaware independent filmmakers. So it was like a big whatever specifics it was good for our community. But I don't know all the specifics on it because it was like so recent, like something within the last like 1 or 2 weeks. So
when you got there, when you first moved there, Salem, in Brandon, was there a working community? I mean, did you have to, how did you get your start in the film? Did you have to do it outside of Delaware, or Brandon? I guess you must have got your start in Delaware. How did you get your start, and what led you down the road to becoming an actor?
Well, for me, I grew up watching horror movies, on TV, so it got me always like writing in little notebooks, little scripts, and growing up with cousins, we always made little films on little flip phones, anything that could record. Excuse me. Um, but as I got older, about 16, 17, I stopped making movies until I was about 20 and made one little 13-minute or a 30-minute film, and it's privated right now. Just because I'm just not that proud of the quality of it, but I'm really, since 2020, I've really just been a writer and never really made anything because nothing was substantially at all. Like, I was very busy until Salem approached me after Matched and was like, I'm really wanting to make this story, and you're like the only one that's like interested. And we went from there, basically.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of did the same thing. So I was really always into film in my early teens, late teens, and then I think life kind of happened. You know, I got into finance, and I met my now ex-husband, but I was married at the time, and so we were doing the married thing and doing the adult thing, and just filmmaking just kind of took a back step, you know, a back seat. And I think just recently, like within the last 4 or 5 years, I just kind of, it's been like a 10-year hiatus for me. But like about 5 years ago was when, just like I said, my divorce kind of happened, my career kind of evolved a little bit, and I was just kind of thinking, like, what are the things that used to make me happy? Like, what are some of the hobbies and other things that you've done, that you sought for entertainment and things like that. And so I was like, it was filming, and that was such a big part of who I was for like a good 10, 15 years of my life. You know, I started films like Brandon, you know, like 12, 13 on, you know, different, I remember all the different types of 8mm and the VHS recorders and things like that. And
That was before my time.
and now, like, we've advanced so far, because like I said, it was like a 10-year hiatus for me. Kind of just was like, you know, what I did back then could be so much better now, basically.
I was gonna say, you got back into film about just 5 years ago, and you had a 10-year layoff. I'm sure you were amazed by the technology
Yes.
boom. It's just like you go from filming, film 70mm, 35mm, 8mm, what have you, and then you come back, and next thing you know is the savior for independent film, which is the
Yeah.
digital camera. Did you have any problems at all of adjusting to the new tech as far as making films? I mean, was the idea of actually
The editing
Yeah.
software is so much advanced. I mean, really, a camera didn't change that much, because they're still just record and stop. Like, they didn't really change too much on the play, rewind, fast forward mechanisms, you know, in terms of advancement. But editing software, man, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Do you edit all your films, Salem?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that I think that the best editors are directors.
Correct.
Just,
Yeah, correct. I mean, otherwise
uh,
you're just going to oversee somebody and telling them, you know, what to do, and it's like,
Because you have a vision in your mind.
yeah, exactly.
we had a question earlier. It seems to be a hot topic these days, but I'll ask you two questions actually tied to this one. Our friend Midnight Merger wants to know: do you guys collect physical media?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does seem to be. Important
Sorry.
these days. No, I was gonna say it seems to be important these days, especially as an independent filmmaker, to try to make some sort of physical media available to people who want to buy your movies.
Yeah.
So
We
and
We definitely have a different age difference between the two of us. I'm not quite 40, but I'm approaching that way. And Brandon's like
25.
Yeah. So I totally lost my train of thought. What was he just?
Physical media.
Oh, yes. So we grew up in very different eras. So like I grew up with VHS tapes. We slowly transitioned to DVDs and Blu-rays. More of Brandon's generation is the streaming platforms. So I definitely am a bigger physical media collector than he is, but we also had two different
She's also
upbringings.
doing it longer than I have. Like I just started in the past 5 years, like going to bins in Walmart or new releases of horror films that I don't own. But her collection, as I'm looking at it, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shelves,
Oh,
and they're like, she's got a wide collection. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of physical media.
I take it you filmed a Control Freak. I take it that you filmed it within your own house.
Yes.
Yeah, it screamed Salem and Brandon. It screamed at me. It was like these two guys. I think you could tell that it was you could tell it was your house. The way you lovingly moved it through the last scene. It's like it's supposed to be exciting and action packed, but you still got the. Okay, I want to make sure I don't hit this too hard or bump into that. And it's like, wow, they're treating that set like it's their own house. I bet you it is their own house.
Yeah, it's my house. Yeah.
Your house is lovely, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that's kind of where we wanted to make it take place at Halloween. It was the only way to kind of explain so much of the decor.
Yeah. So, and then the other question I'm going to tie into, because everyone will want to know this as well, is what horror films, especially since Brandon, you're younger. So, what do you like watching older horror films? And Salem, how about you? Is there anybody new in horror that you think is exceptional? Who do you guys watch? Who do you guys like?
I mean, I was born in 2001, so Scream was before me.
We're big. I was gonna say we're big in the Scream franchise.
That's like our very number one.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching it during an era where I didn't get that shock value, so I'm very jealous of friends and people that watch it for the first time, and I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have seen it was this killer, and I just don't have it. Up to Scream 4, I don't remember actually having that experience. But I love Halloween, the more basic, mainstream horror movies. Oh my god, it's so... There it is.
I was gonna say, what do we like now? I'm trying to think what really has stuck out. Because I do feel like we tend to gravitate towards a particular time frame. You know what I mean? I feel like
very 90s. I feel like early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
I'm big on remakes. So
I'm sure you get this question all the time, but I'll ask it anyway for Brandon. But so, have you ever watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch? I mean, do you know who you watched the show?
I have.
Because honestly, Salem, like I said, you have the coolest name I've had on the show. I'm not pulling your chain either. It's the coolest name.
Salem the cat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he knows that. I was gonna say. I mean, I know he didn't grow up with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but at least he would have to have known about the cat.
Yeah.
That was before my time, though, so I was not.
I know. I was gonna say, how did your parents come to name you Salem? Because you're right. You predate the show. So how did they come up with a cool name like that? Were they into horror too? I mean, is your love of horror?
Yeah, no, my mom is very much into horror movies, Halloween.
That's awesome.
I mean, even as a young child with her, We were, we stayed up watching HBO. We were watching Tales from the Crypt when I was like 5 years old. So very different
so cool.
childhood. Yeah.
Ye-
Yeah. Very
Wow.
different.
Sort of set the table for you, though. If you look at it, your mom sort of set the table for you to move into films and horror, and
Right.
horror films. So thank you, Salem's mom.
Right.
Thank you. Let's see. Go back to the chat here real quick. Everybody's talking about players. Let's see. Hobbs is sitting there saying he's considering collecting VHS again. Well, if you do, well, you can add that to your movie room tour that you'll be doing. See, Dan says he's got 2 players in the box. See, Midnight Merger says I have discovered titles I used to get are becoming much harder to find here in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I'm starting to see that now. Starting to see that with collectors. They're starting to run into resistance as far as seeing there's common movies out there, but as far as the really the underground stuff, it's starting to become pricier to get. Let's see. Uh, do you decorate for Halloween year round? I'm gonna say that's a yes. Yes, that's a yes. Yes.
There's still about like 8 bins that do come out just for Halloween. So I have like 3 different Halloween villages that I do not keep up all year because they take up way too much space. But a lot of my you can't see any of them, but a lot of my animatronics, like I have Art the Clown behind you, and I have Michael and Ghostface, and they were in the movie and stuff. We just tend to put Santa hats on them at Christmas time, and then just the rest of the year they're just relaxing.
Now, I was going to ask you because I did notice that. I noticed there was a lot of animatronics and different well-known horror icon figures. When you put out Control Freak, did you get any pushback from that? Like I know, I guess you're supposed to. I personally don't know for sure, but are you allowed? Is it okay to make sure there's an Art the Clown in a scene or something like that? Is it just as long as it's part of the story, it doesn't really matter, or how does that work?
I was gonna say, I think as long as what they kind of went over with me was as long as they weren't actually involved in the story, we could kind of use them. Some of the things are still being processed through Tubi, so if they need to blur something out, they can. But so far, they've not come back to any needing to make any cleanups on anything. So and the distributor who I'm working with has been keeping me up to date on it, and he's the one who kind of said, as long as you're not like throwing a Michael Myers mask on somebody and having him run around as the killer, you're good. Like as long as he's just kind of in the background, it's okay. So.
It's like having a can in the background, like it's coincidental or just in the shot,
Yeah, incidental. I mean, as long as you're not sitting there, like making sure, look at this, look at this, look at this. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's like like product placement. You can put a product placement on there, but you don't want to put the camera and focus on it for 10 seconds, basically slapping your audience like, look at this, look at this. Yeah, you're right. But I saw that house. I mean, I knew it was your house that you filmed in, and I knew it was Halloween all year round. There was just too much love in that house not to. That's just an amazing house. I'm sure you're very popular come Halloween night.
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. I'll go back to the chat real quick. Then we'll get back to the questions. Let's see. Hob says if he had a daughter, I would make her Salem as well. That is that's one of the sweetest things right there. Yeah, he would. He would too. Hobbs, he would name his daughter Salem. I fully believe that. See, no rooms to tell reached 20,000 movies. Always with the barriers. Midnight mentions 2 serious questions for our guests. Let's see. Okay. Can I save that one? I'm gonna save that one toward the end. I'm gonna save that one toward the end. Okay, so I want to get back
Wait,
to Salem.
what's the question? What are we saving to the end?
Okay, the questions. 2 serious questions for our guests. What are
Oh,
your thoughts?
I see them now. Yeah, I see the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. What are your thoughts on Jason Goes to Hell and Elm Street 2? Uh,
Mm,
if
We could.
if two's not your favorite, which Freddy film is your favorite?
Do you want to save that one for later, or
we might want to save this for later.
Yeah, let's save that one for later. So I want to go back to you, Salem. So you move from Jersey, come to Delaware,
Uh-huh.
and did you know right away that you wanted to do feature films? Had you ever done any short films while you were in Jersey? Because I noticed in Control Freak, you're also the leading lady. So what came first for you, the acting part of the acting part or the directing screenwriting part? Which came first to you in your career?
I would say writing, because like kind of like Brandon said, like same thing. Like I was writing things down in notebooks or writing different scripts, and because I'm a very visual person, I always had these characters who I kind of saw through their eyes. So I think that kind of morphed in more into an acting. Um, just because who knows the character better than the writer? Um, and I guess for me, it's all been just all encompassing, writing, directing, and kind of being the lead. Has just kind of always been kind of how I've worked my movies. I think because however I'm writing the character is kind of how I see them, and then I can understand a little bit on how they react to certain things, how they deal with certain things. And I just felt like I could bring that to life in a certain way, even if so to me, it's always been just been one, I guess, writing really. But then moving, like you said, kind of to Delaware. I had always done feature length films. I don't think I ever did a short ever. All feature length films. And then, but for myself, for my like own private, me, my friends, my family, doing those sorts of things, like I said, in high school. And then, like I said, life happened, jumped 10 years later, moved to Delaware. And then I was like, again, there's so much more that can be done now. There's so many places you can go, versus as a teenager of what you think of as horror, as somebody who's in their 20s. I feel like that kind of brought, especially like with Control Freak, the random act of violence is something more as an adult. I feel like is something of more of a concern. As something growing up in the 80s, the boogeyman is what horror was. Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, things of your dreams, not the person across the street or the person you run into at a store.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's interesting you mentioned that because one of the things when I was watching Control Freak, there's a scene where Brandon is he thinks his neighbor is a serial killer, which really it's like you hear that noise, and how did you go from you heard a noise to your neighbor was a serial killer? Was that improvised or was that part of your script, Salem?
So that was improvised. It was just kind
I
of one of
thought
those things
so.
where we were kind of well, Brandon did not play Ryan,
yeah,
by
I
the
didn't
way.
play Ryan.
He played
Oh, did I
Tyler.
not? Okay. Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
he
I could.
is in
Okay.
the film.
Yeah. I am the neighbor.
Yeah. So he's the neighbor, Tyler, in the film.
So okay.
Ryan, Jonathan, in real,
Jonathan
the
is the actor.
Jonathan Mahoney is the actor who
Okay,
played Ryan.
okay.
But I
Mahoney,
can,
Jonathan seems to have a fan base. I saw that on the comments on the film on while watching it on YouTube, and a lot of people were like, yeah, they liked his performance.
hmm yeah,
Um,
yeah, he
that
did
but
a
that
great.
scene was improvised because that was a really fun scene.
I think some of our fights are arguing as a couple. There was some scenes that just we went a little off script because we just got so passionate in that moment, and then the same thing outside when we were kind of talking about the bump, the noise in the night. Oh, that must be a serial killer. Oh, okay. You've seen a little too many horror movies type of deal. We just kind of we went off, and I was like, am I keeping it, am I not keeping it? And that again, that kind of goes back to being a director and editing. What feels normal is great, because some of those normal conversations are the best, to use.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that with the opening scene with Ryan, and and I thought initially at first it was good. You could feel the chemistry there, um, and you definitely could feel the sense of improv, and I like that a lot, because it didn't sound like it was written. It felt organic, and it was just like, okay, this is exactly how a couple would talk. And then
Yeah.
I like the homage to Scream in there as well. The phone call and then and he's in there. This is some bullshit, and you're going like, no, if you open that door, I got your wife, and if you open that door, I'll show you what I'm gonna do to her.
hmm
That was very well done, very well done, very well acted, and the reaction, like because you're sitting there and putting yourself in his shoes and going like, what would you do? Would you
Right.
just say, oh, whatever, and just open the door, or would you take it seriously? And it's like you really, and you can see on his face, and it was a really good shot. Your cinematographer caught the emotion really, really well. About what would you do? I mean, would you gamble or not? I probably would not gamble myself. I would,
Yeah.
I'd have to take
um,
charge.
Ryan seems like a very good husband. Again, I wrote him, so in my mind, he's very loyal. He kind of lets her kind of run the show.
yeah.
That's come across very, very well. But you know, he seems a very devoted husband. So I didn't see him doing anything other than trying to comply with the masked assailant. We call him the Watcher. He doesn't have an official name. Our killer.
This is the first time to watch.
But yeah, I mean that's how we credit him in the credits is the Watcher.
No, I just like some of the. I just thought it was a really fun scene, and like I said, I like the homage to Scream in there. I thought that was a really nice role reversal. The first time we see that, it's with Sydney and the male voice, and this time it's the male. Have to handle it because a lot of times the guy will sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I do this, I do that," and then you see them put in that position, and what do? They did the safe thing too. They did this. They played it safe. They weren't heroes, even though they were. We hear a lot of people chatter about that, like, "Well, if that had been me, I would have done it all differently." And then when you do see a male come out there in that role, like and do it right, like I'm not going to put her at risk. I thought it was a smart choice. I thought it was smart. I thought it was smart screenwriting, and I appreciated the scene. Um, let's see. Go
We
back to
wanted
chat. Go ahead.
we also wanted to raise a little doubt on her too, because you don't see what's going on in the room either. So it's really kind of
Is she behind?
yeah. I mean, you kind of have to wonder. That he just all he gets is a picture that of her sleeping. So
Yeah, I just, that's just something that you wouldn't play with. That would be a little bit too serious. It was just a prank. That's not a prank. I mean, someone did that to me, and I said, "Oh, it was just a joke." Well, I tell you what, you rethink about that joke as you're picking your ass up off the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, so
No,
I think,
I didn't mean as a joke. I meant more of like she could have some more sinister, diabolical plans for her husband, type of deal. Like
I now who was the young actress who played the wife?
me.
That was you. God, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was okay. Wait a minute, that was you in the beginning and the end.
Oh, her brother? Are you talking about the blonde brother?
I'm talking about the lady who, because I didn't even recognize you. Holy shit, really? So
Yeah. Even
you played the you. That was I'm watching the damn movie. That was you in the beginning with. Wow, that's some
yeah,
good acting. That's some good acting.
because I even have my same glasses on in the beginning of the film.
But you didn't have your glasses on at the end, though.
Yeah, no, she takes them off somewhere in the kitchen. There's a scene where she
Yeah,
puts them in the
and,
refrigerator.
and you and you have the bulky clothes on, the sweater and the long hair, and then in the end you look
Yeah,
glammed up. You're
yeah.
super glammed up, and the good costuming, good wardrobe, by the way, too.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, I was thinking. I thought what happened was, I thought they were changed actress. I thought they like in the middle of the movie. I'm going like, did they change her out? And I missed this because I knew he was your brother in the movie
Yeah,
because they were talking about that. But I
yeah.
just so wow. So what did you do to change your appearance around? Because I swear I didn't know it was you in the first.
Yeah. So right after is it after Ryan? It's after Ryan's scene. I take a shower and then I get out and I change out of the because remember I'm sleeping during his phone conversation. So she's in pajama clothes and then she takes a shower and then she puts on just her little black dress and her black lace. Actually, I think I'm wearing this one. No, I'm not wearing this one.
I'll put the link down below in the chat. You guys go watch Control Freak and come back and tell me that I'm not crazy. Tell me if you were fooled as well. Um, what did you do to physically change yourself? I mean, the hair coloring, the hairstyle. I mean, definitely the clothes. That
I
was
mean,
that's sensational.
it's the same. I mean, my hair color is still the same. It's still blonde. Um, really
The
just the
glasses.
outfit change. Yeah.
Wow, that is. See, copy that. We'll check it out. Yes. I mean, when you guys do come back here, drop a comment. Let me know. Tell me I mean, I know my eyes are not all that, but I'm not that blind. But I did not even recognize that it was a. I thought
Yeah.
you came in the second half of the movie and went like, okay, what happened to the first girl? Cause then it's all come out and it's all glammed up and I'm like, holy cow, look at that,
Yeah.
and then um, go ahead.
Yeah, that's all. She changes. She's waiting for her pizza. Ryan ordered the pizza, so
Right.
so she took a shower and changed. I guess
So
in the earlier part of the film, she's kind of bumming it down, right? She's got the sweatshirt and the sweats on.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And no Hawaiian pizza, no ham and pineapple.
No ham and pineapple.
Hey, what's up, Dell? How are you? We were talking with filmmaker Salem uh, Diabetta and actor and Brandon. Are you what else do you do? Are you going back to being I mean, besides a writer? So you be an actor screenwriter now?
I think right now, actually, I'm about to start working on a little short film about mid September. So it's going to take about a month or two to get it done. So I want to release that for myself. So that's going to be my first film in like 6 years. So
Okay.
I'm kind of getting back into it with being involved with Control Freak, like now, especially helping direct and produce, and also being in it for 10 minutes, it got me back into it and wanting to do it. So,
Now,
but I'm not
I
sure
over
if
now Salem, you said something that caught my attention, and let's talk about that because I love short films. God, if everybody's in here will all say all at once, yes, we know you love short films, but I do. I think short films are a really great way to improve filmmakers, improve their craft. Um, you said that you have not made a short film; you made
I have
only
never
feature
made
films.
a short film. No.
Why did you make that decision to do it that way instead of coming back doing a couple of short films and then going from there? Did you feel like you have the crew and the chops to do a feature length film right off the bat?
I mean, I guess I just because I grew up watching feature length films, I just kind of knew, like, kind of like character development, how, a beginning should look, how a middle, how an end should be. I didn't have a lot of exposure to short films, so I wouldn't even really know too much on where to go. Now, I have done like an anthology. I did like an anthology series when again back in high school, which I guess would be similar to a short film because they were like 22 minutes an episode, and it would be a different horror genre, I guess, really sub horror
Okay.
subgenre. Yeah. um,
Anthology films are fun to make, aren't they?
they are.
Or are they
Yeah,
are they a pain in the ass?
I think they're good. I mean, it's just you got to really think outside the box. I mean, if
Yeah.
you don't want repeats for sure. Um, yeah.
Um,
I,
so where did you each learn how to act? I mean, I've asked you where you started from, but what did you steps did you take? Because I mean, Salem, people are going to be really surprised to see you're very sweet and mellow here talking to us, but let me tell you, and Control Freak, she ain't anything like that. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, you could rack a shotgun with the best of them. Um,
Right.
how did you guys? Where did you guys each get your start? Like as far as acting goes, did you guys do formal training? Was it was it working out with friends? Was it community theater, church? Was it church? How did you guys each get into the acting? Learn your acting.
I never really did any acting classes or any like after school, plays or anything. Mine were all really like almost in my mind or in my room as like a 10-year-old, like reenacting a scene to myself, like to the TV. And it's kind of like next thing you know, I know the whole, like I know Scream like the back of my hand, and I can sit here tonight and say every single line. And it's kind of like I could probably deliver it and do the whole movie myself. Like, but that's really how it really started. Is I was really so interested in. I had closed captions. That's what I loved growing up. I had to read what everything said so I could say it properly, and
Right.
that got me not so much my memory. I still stepping into acting. Um, I did act as a teenager with my cousins in our little films, but they were never, you know, I was on there for like 2 or 3 seconds because most time I had the camera, like,
Right.
so I didn't really do too much. But Salem,
Yeah, I mean, same thing, kind of self-taught. I did do theater in high school, but theater is so different than, um,
screaming.
yeah, I mean, theater is so different than actual like filmmaking. Being
Yeah.
behind a camera, you can fix mistakes, you can do reshoots. There's so many. It's so different. So I would say like some of my acting kind of came from theater, but really, I mean, once I kind of knew how different it was, that was kind of when I quit theater and just kind of focused on making films and acting. But no formal acting classes or anything like that. No.
Right. Now, Brandon, you said that you can recite every line in Scream.
Oh yeah, I think we both can.
Yeah.
Probably at this point. Yeah.
Okay, that's good, but I just want to know, can you do the same thing for the Human Centipede?
No. Well, I could barely even sit through it. I've seen it maybe 2 times. The second, third, it just gets worse and worse for me. Like the second one is also just very atrocious.
Yeah,
But I love
yeah. The first two are the first two are really unsettling. The third one is garbage. I'll
Yeah.
agree with you on that. But the first two, yeah, yeah.
And they just have a creepy tone about them. Like also,
I love it. I love it. It ruined Hannibal Lecter for me, but that's all right. It was worth it. Um, uh, so here we are in the house. Gosh, that must have been like, I mean, for Control Freak. I mean, I'm actually thinking not only the title of the movie, but inside the house too. Um, what speed? Because I'm really curious, because this is your own personal home. This is the home that you live in. What steps did you take to protect your house from the filming itself? I mean, you know, somebody come in with the camera, maybe they're a little bit rough around the corner, they're not necessarily watching 100% the house itself. I mean, when you see this movie, when you see it, guys, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, every inch of the house is covered by something. And I was just thinking to myself, going like, I don't know who they got. I don't know who they got for a cinematographer, but that guy better be awfully damn good, real good.
Yeah. There was about 3 of us who manned the camera. So 2 of us are us, and then our third person who just care of the house. Yeah.
watch your step.
Yeah. I mean, the way, I mean, you set up the scene, how you're going to be filming it, and I guess you just kind of.
I mean, don't get us wrong. There was definitely some stubbed toes and some hits on the corners of some stands.
Yeah.
You didn't see them very much in the movie.
Blood all in my dining room. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's go with let's talk about the other movie that I was not able to see, but let's talk about it. It's Matched. Tell us a little bit about.
I guess indirectly, it's accidentally, I would say, it actually is a short film, I suppose, because it's 55 minutes, and I don't know. I think we kind of went back and forth. Somebody posted this in a film forum just today, asking what is the cut, like where's the cut for a feature film versus a short. It was a friend of mine who's an independent filmmaker himself, and it's a pretty small movie. I think he's at like 40 minutes or something, and he's like, I don't know if I was like, I could tell you, I don't think 40 minutes is going to get you in the feature film category, but it was interesting to see the comments, because a lot of things going back and forth people were saying 65 minutes, 75 minutes. So, and Match is 55. So I don't think it's, for all intents and purposes, it's a short. I guess it really is my first short film that I made. And that's all about the dangers, I guess, of online dating.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think from what I understand, talking to the distributors and whatnot, I mean, it's a little gray area. I think it's up to 30 minutes. It's a short film, but for it to become a feature film, it's like 70 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, 70 minutes. I know,
That's what.
right? But there have been movies out there that have been made for under for 70 minutes. I mean, there's a couple of movies that I can think of right now that have that were one was 76, one was 73, but they rolled. I mean, they were feature length films and they acted like it. I mean, and they played out like it. But yeah. Um Short films, like I said, I do believe it is 30 minutes for that. But it all depends. I'm not sure what you call the gray area between 30 and 60 minutes or 70
Yeah,
minutes. I mean,
right.
it's like
What goes in that category? I guess I don't
I,
know.
I know people call them movies. I know one filmmaker, he makes his movies and they're like 42 or 43 minutes long and they're not movies, but he calls them movies. So who am I to say otherwise?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Our good friend Doc Kaiju just walked through the door saying, "Hail, Gaigan," and I'm being honest. I'm sitting there going, I want a Gaigan, Hello Kitty." That's right. And he says hello to everybody in the room. Says here, by the way, you can get a red Infinite Lance Gaigan at a GameStop and Target for $10 right now. But you know what? I'm going there tomorrow. Um, we like monster movies here. So matched. It's a very volatile subject. It seems like dating, online dating. Um, wow, you're always reading about something new, something crazy, something bizarre happening in that world.
Yeah.
Was Match based off any sort of experience from friends, yourself in your
No.
past, and when? Okay. Because
No.
you mentioned that in Control Freak, you gave a really strong disclaimer about that, and I thought that was actually pretty smart too. You said
Oh,
that
about stalking. Yeah, about
yeah,
I think stalking harassment. Right. Yeah.
I'm taking it when I've learned that anytime someone has to put something up like that in one of their projects, especially for a woman, it's because that they come from a place that's happened to them in their own life.
hmm
And yeah, we don't need to talk about
So,
that. But
well, no, honestly, no, we can. It's in the disclaimer for a reason. So it talks about stalking, harassing, can lead to actual real life violence. But then it does say in there towards the bottom during the production of the film, one of the actors was subject to stalking, and it was me actually. So we started filming the movie, and it was kind of like. It just got really out there, I guess, through social media, different people that we know, different conventions that we go to. Just, there's a lot of exposure. So us making the film and what the premise was about was just enough for somebody to kind of start stalking me about, and so that's why that was in the disclaimer about it, about just stalking and harassment. But then it leads into during the production of this film, an actor. We just left it as just an actor because we didn't want to put actress. We didn't want to give too much away. We left it very gender neutral, so that way you didn't really know which one of us. But I mean, now I'm a little bit more vocal about it. But they were getting very, very scary, very personal, and calling me daily, kind of counting down the days when they were going to be
doing the things said they were going to do.
yeah, causing me physical harm as they said they were going to try to do. But they only got down to day 4, so it did not perpetuate to real life violence.
wow.
Yeah, but I did have to get the police involved. I got the state police involved. It was a lot. There was a lot of. And we still don't know.
It's gotta be super frustrating. It's gotta be super frustrating is that you're trying to make some art. That's what you're doing. You're just trying to make some art, and for someone to come in there and try to take your power and, by doing that, like you said, control. I mean, it's gotta be unnerving, especially when you're trying to complete a film that happens to be a little bit about the subject. I mean, was this something that was? I was just curious, without getting any details.
Yeah.
But was this started from? Because I've seen some. I've seen some. I mean, you're in some of the independent film groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest and just call it as it is. There are some freak shows in some of those Facebook groups. There
Yeah.
are some, yeah. Um, did this person is that where it got picked up at, and they started they started following you through there, or was this
We
something
don't
someone
know. Yeah,
wow.
we have no idea because by the time I had answered the phone to this number, because I'm thinking it's um, like a telemarketer. So by the time I had answered the phone, it was one day that they had got me at like 11:30 at night. So I was like, okay, and it was a Delaware area code number. But by the time I had answered the number at that point, when I had looked up the history, they had been calling me for weeks, but it was still within the time frame of making the movie. So I do kind of somewhat think it may have something to do with the film, but at the same time maybe not, because it wasn't the same. It was not the same plot of the movie, but we also really kept it under wraps. Like all anybody knew about the movie was just that this couple was getting harassed and stalked by an unknown person. That was really just the gist of what they knew of the movie.
Yeah, it's a shame that sometimes real life like that comes into play. I mean, when I let me go to the chat real quick. They've been tearing it up here. Let's see. Hobbs mentioned he says I consider myself a pretty seasoned reviewer, and I think a motion picture of 30 to 45 minutes is perfectly fine if done well. He's not kidding. He is actually a very good film reviewer, and yeah, I'm thinking about some of the movies Hobbs from Wild Eye. A lot of those movies go, especially Dustin Ferguson. They go like that 35 to 40 minutes. The only problem is with the movie like that short right there. It's like you can call it a movie, but I think you would have a hard time selling it as a movie. I think a lot of people would come in there, to look at it, see, because I've heard this before. I've seen reviewers come in there and say, they'll look at a movie and it'll be like 64 minutes long, or and they'll sit there and say, and they're asking me for $15 for this, and they'll put it back. A lot of viewers, they will. It's conditioning too. For independent movies, they condition the viewer to watch 70-75 minutes. It's because that's the budget they have. They shoot to their budget. They don't shoot to the minute, they shoot to the budget. And so that's part of it. And but yeah. See, Doc's got the Godzilla Hello Kitty today. He was hoping for the guy again. I told you we love monsters. See, I met my late partner online, but he had also been assaulted by several people he met online. Online dating is scary. Yes, it absolutely is. Hobb says his final question for Team Patrol Freak, other than my first two questions, is what are their thoughts on Obsession? That's actually a really good question. I just watched it over the weekend. Have you watched that movie? I mean, did you watch that movie? After because Patrol Freak's been out. I want to say you released that about the same time, right?
July 18th. July.
Yeah. So Obsession came out maybe a month before that, June maybe. What did you think? What did you guys get to watch that movie? And if so, what were some of your thoughts about it?
I'll go first. Okay. I went opening night. I liked it, but nobody seemed to know what it was. Even in the horror community, when I said I was going to see this movie, they were like, "What is what? What?" I didn't even see any trailers for it. I know nothing about it, and it blew up. Like obviously, like overnight. It made like millions of dollars. Even now there's some of the people that I've talked to that are like huge Obsession fans and are, sporting the merch. I'm like, do you remember me telling you that I was going to see this movie and you had no idea what movie I was talking about? And they're like, no, I don't know what. I'm like, we had a whole conversation about Obsession. I was trying to explain it to you that it was kind of like the monkey's paw meets dating. And it was a handful of them. There was definitely a few people that had no idea what movie I was going to see at all. Like, didn't hear about it.
I thought it sounded like Big. That's what I thought, because it was the same thing. Yeah. Kid walks up to the machine and makes a wish. He wants to be bigger, and that's his wish. And the next day he's bigger, and it's like, there's another one called Jamie King did it. Called I Wish. I think it's called I Wish, and she has this pot, and every time she makes a wish and it's granted, someone close to her dies.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that's what sometimes it cracks me up when I see reactions to movies like Obsession. It's almost like everybody's there. You can always tell the horror fans from the newbies, because a lot of the newbies, you go to the newbies and you sit there and say, have you ever seen Big? You ever seen Wishmaster?
Yeah.
Ever seen, it's like, no. Yet they're falling over themselves, like, oh, Obsession is so original. It's like, it's original in some respects, but it's not an original story. The story's been done, this is just his take on it.
It's literally be careful what you wish for. It's just a play on be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. That's what I really liked about Wishmaster, because you could go there and make all those wishes, but he knows that you're doing it all for all the wrong reasons, and that's why you're going to end up paying him for. Let's see. So Doc says he has online stalkers. There are a few people who got my number and kept making new numbers to harass me. They stopped while I pretended the number now belonged to a little girl's tablet for her to chat with her Roblox friends, and then pretended to be her an angry mom. Stop her. I'm sorry you went through that. Tragic and terrifying. Yeah.
It got pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, because there are certain things that you do, I feel like, without even thinking of them. So I remember this night specifically. I wanted a packet of gummy bears. I had none in the house, and I went to my roommate and was like, I need you to go with me to the store. And they were like, what do you need me to go to the store for? I was like, I don't even want to walk outside. Like, I have a tree in my front yard. I do have street lights, but not anything that, nobody behind a garbage can or a hedge couldn't do. So just those things you take for granted, because I don't look at the hedges or anything and the God's honest truth is I'm more likely to probably get attacked on a day you're not thinking about your surroundings. And so this particular night, I'm like standing at the door and I'm looking in every single direction. And I had to have my roommate go with me, and that would have been something that I would have not even thought twice about doing. I would have walked right to my driveway to my car, drove to the store, got my gummy bears, and came home. And it had to be this whole project that disrupted just one little part of my livelihood. You know what I mean? That one little thing, like getting gummy bears, is and that's not counting all the other the other things that I kind of had to be more aware of and more mindful of.
Well, and just thinking that you just went to get gummy bears. Imagine if you're like on a deadline trying to complete a film and you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that disrupts the whole filming process. That's just unacceptable. Talk to us a little bit about MASH. Did you just direct that? Because I have not seen it, so all my questions are going to be about the film, or the film's brand new to me. Did you do the same thing? Did you just direct it, or did you direct and star in it as well?
So I directed and starred in it, but I did not write it. So my other my roommate, the one that I was telling you about, he's the co-founder with me with Scold Productions, and so he wrote the movie. In fact, I could probably get him up here to make a little cameo
Sure.
appearance. Um,
I was not a part of Matched.
but, so that was our first project. Like I said, after not having filmed, not having acted in anything for about 10 years. So that was kind of like, I don't want to say like that's our precious little baby, but it is. My mom was in that film as a small minor character, and she passed away before we had finished editing the film. So it's my like she's immortal to me in that movie. You know what I mean? So, but
I'm sorry to hear that. I would have loved to met your mom, so I could have said thank you.
yes. Oh, for the name.
Yes.
Yeah, she, like I said, big horror fan, also blonde. So, in a lot of ways, the resemblance just is. I get it all the time, from people that I look like her. So, but like I said, she was in it, and that means so much to me, But the movie itself was just it's really good. The only, I guess, the downside of it was that it cannot be considered a feature length film, but it's definitely good. It's definitely a really, really good movie.
Well, I mean, the way you could look at it too. I know some people have done this. I mean, if you go back to the film and you edit it so that it comes across like a PG-13 movie,
Okay.
You might be able to turn around, because you're talking about a subject that a lot of women can relate to, which is stalking or online safety during dating. You could shape it up, and then offer it to different women groups around your area, around your state. I know a lot of places will, they're glad to get movies like that, to help women in positions like that. It's just an idea if you haven't sent it
Yeah.
out to festivals yet, but you might be able to, I wouldn't rack up a shotgun necessarily, but but you know what I'm saying. If you made it PG-13, maybe a one or two cuss words to for points. As
Yeah.
far
I
as
don't.
but you could share it with or if you got rid of all the cuss words, you could probably share it with a church group or what have you. Like, be careful, that sort of thing. Caution. I mean,
Yeah.
just an
I mean,
idea.
I will say it's not heavy on the gore or any or most weapons. I don't think there's any gun. There's a knife, but it does deal with the R word.
Right. Right.
So
You
they
know.
do.
You know.
There is a
That
scene of that.
I will say this that I thought was really, this is if you want to know how really I knew this was your house, this is your house. I was toward the last scene where you're fighting the killer and the watcher, and you
Mhm.
guys are both on the ground, you're both fighting, and you both stab each other. I mean, you guys, the camera it shows you guys are stabbing each other. I'm going like, okay. But then I noticed one thing. I'm going like, you could tell this is her house because she ain't bleeding. There's no, you have a bleed, you bleed up here on the forehead, but I'm going like, I'm waiting for the blood because I'm waiting for him to track you by that blood. Like, he's looking for you in the
In the
crucial
stomach.
scene. There's no blood
Yeah.
trail. And I'm going like, yeah, I know whose house that is. I thought, you know what? It actually made it really charming. It really did. It made it really charming. I noticed that, and I said, that is really, you can tell it's her house, and I liked it. I thought it was really good. But that's when you got down there in the last 10 minutes and just kicked ass. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
um,
Well, you don't see too much of the floor, so I mean, I think for the most part it was pretty bloody because there's a body in the there's a body in the kitchen, dining room. But yeah, we're in the living room for a little bit there too. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm also
But
wearing black, so there is blood.
yeah,
You're,
I saw that too. I'm watching you hold yourself, and I'm like, maybe she just got like a patch over it or something, because he's either that or he's just dumb as a rock, because because you're outfoxing him every year, and you outfox him upstairs. He never sees you at all, and I'm going like, well, for a killer here, you're gonna get your ass handed to you by the final girl here any minute.
mm,
But I also want to know one thing. Why didn't you, a slight spoilers here. Why didn't you untie your brother's hands before you fought this guy? You saved his life, but then you
yeah,
let him tie to the chair, and I was like, quick, cut his hand, cut the rope, cut the rope.
yeah. I think she's just reacting kind of in the moment. She freed off the plastic off of his face, so she got
Yes.
him to breathe. And he said, he's down the hall. She's got the gun. I think she's just kind of
That was when
she calls the what would you say?
the cat. He's talking about when you freed him from the plastic.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
why
Did he?
Well, they're two different scenes. When I free him
the
from the
first one.
plastic, I get stabbed in the leg,
Yes.
and then I fall back, but I have no place to run but upstairs. Or are you talking about later?
No, I'm talking about when that scene happened right there. Um,
He
and then
stabbed me.
I
in the
was going to
foot.
ask you about the plastic. How, did you just do a sheet? Did you just do a sheet of plastic, and then, because that was a pretty harrowing scene too, and I'm going like,
Yeah.
this is pretty good. This is a really good effect for an indie movie like this, because it
was
looked like
a-
he was suffocating, and you don't see that too often for indie films. That was very effective as well.
Mhm. Thank you.
So now
Yeah,
from
nice
that,
job. What's
Chris is here, so if you wanted to ask anything about Matched.
I'll let him have the seat.
Sure.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Just got off of work and now I'm on a podcast.
Yes, isn't that how? Isn't Hollywood strange?
It's absolutely strange.
Well, as far as Michigan and Delaware are concerned. So tell me your thoughts about Matched. What was your impressions of the subject matter and the finished movie? How did it affect you, both as a friend and as a filmmaker?
Now, mind you, he's not seen Matched.
Oh, he's not?
He's not seen Matched.
So, with Matched, I actually wrote Matched.
Yeah.
Matched was a idea that me and Salem kind of kicked around. Oh, what if this? What if that? And then we kind of.
Well, I think originally was asking about like what inspired you. Was it online dating? Because then we touched on a little bit about control freak stalking, and could that have been real life? And I was like, it's actually the opposite. It was not a real life incident. It was a pure work of fiction that became a real life thing. So he was asking a little bit like why, what inspiration did you, was there any like online horror dating?
I mean, that's kind of it. It was kind of,
Online dating horror.
I don't know how much to go through and spoil if you haven't seen it. You might want to watch it. But that's kind of exactly it. It's like, what would be the worst outcome for like an online dating application? And then we just kind of ran from there with the subject matter of Matched. So it's like just the horrors of online dating. It's kind of weird that so is like online stalking, online. So
did you get stories? Did you hear stories from your friends or colleagues or peers about their experiences? I mean, was it something like that? Something they told you about that led you to write the script, or was it just something that you saw and you just wrote it out by yourself? Were you inspired by anybody?
So I kind of touched on it before. It's kind of a me and Salem were kind of kicking around ideas of a movie that we could do together that didn't need a whole lot of people. And then she touched on something about like, what about like an online date gone wrong? I was like, oh, I could work with that. And from there, we kind of kicked around some more ideas. Like I said, I'm trying to be vague because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it.
Well, I told him it's not heavy on the horror or gore. It's more of a psychological thriller. But I did let him know there's an R word implication,
Yeah.
which is in itself its own horror. I mean, right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think the biggest inspiration behind it was like the movie Red Eye, kind of like Cat and Mouse. We kind of twisted that on its head with the subject matter we dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can go with that. I can see where that's coming from. So now, are you a screenwriter yourself?
I'm a writer, not necessarily a screenwriter. I've written a lot of fiction, not really went anywhere with it, but I'm kind of proficient at writing. It's just something I've always done since like high school. Just kind of like wrote short stories for myself, articles for people. I did have at one point, early in the days of streaming radio, I worked for a metal streaming platform, and I wrote all of their interviews, and I wrote reviews, and I wrote like columns about like the goings on in the metal scene and stuff like that. So writing's something I've always done as far as a hobby. And with Matched, I was the first time I kind of wrote a screenplay, which was funny because I didn't actually write a screenplay. I kind of wrote a story, and then we kind of like broke it into like dialogue chunks. As far as like, okay, well now we need to actually make it into a format to be a screenplay. So then I had to like research how to do a screenplay. Okay, cool. And went from there. So it was kind of a whole new tool added to my toolbox, so to speak.
Very nice. You're going to continue to do so. You're going to, you're going to explore. You can continue to explore what your pen can bring. I mean, it seems like you have a lot of good ideas, so you're gonna don't want to give that up.
So we actually have a movie we've been trying to do 2 or 3 years now, and I kind of wrote like maybe 13, 14 pages of it, and we kind of got at loggerheads of where we wanted to go. So we kind of backburnered it, and then Control Freak came up. So that kind of took precedence over that. And I keep opening up the file, and I keep looking at it because it's right there on my computer. And I'm like, I keep rereading it, and I'm like, okay, so maybe we could do this. So I don't know if that's something that we're going to do anytime soon, but it's definitely something at least I want to finish.
Yeah, we definitely, it's there. It's in the process for sure.
Sure. But sometimes that happens. Sometimes, creatives, I've had many times talk to me about that on the show where, there's a plot point that they, maybe don't see eye to eye on, or, like they do the same thing you did. They just put it aside and come back and revisit it. And more often than not, the person who necessarily maybe didn't see it the first time will see it the second time, or vice versa. And then it gets back, and then it gets written, and it gets made into a film. So no biggie with that. I mean, that sort of thing happens all the time.
And we still haven't landed on a direction with it anyway. Like we have different plot ideas. So like with Control Freak, and even with part 2, when we finished part 1, when we were talking about the ideas for part 2, nothing changed in the script. Like I literally remember talking to Brandon and being like, this is exactly how I feel like part 2 should go. I mean, it took one conversation to write a whole script on the outline of that conversation was going to make into a script. Our other movie that to it hasn't been that we want to do. It's still been kind of brainstorming.
And I mean, it almost is decent because we've shot footage of that was supposed to be the opening for it. So we actually have like footage in the can of stuff to use.
Mm-hmm. Which will actually be old. Like when we go to use it, it'll actually be footage from
The first one.
From like 4 years ago or whenever when we filmed it. It's like
How long did it take for you to bring Control Freak from the from the writing board to the big screen? How long did it take you to make that happen?
It was like 6 or 7 months.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. I mean, it was an idea we had around about like a mass killer type of deal, but then how can we upgrade that to something better where it's somebody who's stalking you, who knows your every move and has been watching you for 5 weeks and 4 days. Yeah. So it was about 6 months when we were like, okay, we need to make this movie happen. It became less of an idea and more of let's do this. And because we wanted continuity to be a key factor with the house, people's weight, hair, once we had that script ready, it was film, every possibility that we could. Our biggest challenge though is that it took place during the fall and we shot it during the summer. So we were working with very limited hours.
Right. I'm gonna go back and rewatch this movie because I still need to see how I missed that. You from the beginning to because like I said, I mean you did, it's just like a butterfly. So you see, it's just like you see you in the first scene, and then you see in the last scene. I mean, it's just like holy cow! Wow. Okay.
He thought it was a different actress.
Now you're gonna go ahead and make a part 2. You said of Control Freak.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna bring back your same villain, or are you gonna try to do? Are you gonna stretch your wings a little bit?
So we are bringing him back because you know so little about him, and the first it is heavy on the dialogue in the first film. And so we want the second one to kind of raise the body count because we have such a demand for him, and we have such a demand for of people who want to be involved in it. So we definitely want to have like a much larger cast. Like we have a much bigger character list this time around, and so many people who want those roles.
Well, you know why, right?
It'll be a different experience.
Just think about it. Think about this. How cool would it be to come out, do the movie and come out and sit there and say, "I got killed by Salem."
Wow.
It would. It is pretty different.
Right. She's not the killer though, but
no. But you're gonna be. I'm sure you'll be defending yourself. I would think, right?
Right. Of course,
and you're gonna be directing the film, so you can direct all the different death scenes, and they can still sit there and say, Salem killed me.
Right. I mean, the first one deals a lot with stalking. So I feel like we tackle a lot of serious issues because part 2 is going to deal with a lot of PTSD for the 2 characters that lived and how they're dealing with the same situation, but drastically different. So I think that's really cool to touch on. And it would be too spoilery to give away, but it definitely, we definitely touch on, I guess, vulnerability. We'll just kind of leave it at that.
Right. I'm looking at my clock. I have kept you over. We have hit our mark.
Okay.
Yeah, this is fun. This was a lot of fun talking about your 2 films and the third film.
Did you want us in like 2 seconds to answer that other question about Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and Jason.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So are you big fans of Jason Goes to Hell and Nightmare on Elm Street Part
Two.
2?
Right.
Are you big fans of those two? And who would you want to see play Freddy?
Ooh. I'll start. So Michael Levy, because I adore the Levy brothers, I do. And I just seen him over the weekend, and he is campaigning hard to be Freddy Krueger, and I love Michael to death. And it's no way disrespectful that he can easily look like Robert Englund, for sure, a younger version of Robert Englund. So,
I heard there is this guy. I haven't seen the show yet. I know I'm probably the only one that hasn't, but I guess he played a demon on a show called Stranger Things. And I personally still myself, I still would go with that Jackie Earl Haley.
oh yeah, I adore him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on my window back there. He's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. And what about Friday the 13th? The last Friday, Jason Goes to Hell. Are you a big fan of that movie? Directed by Adam Marcus.
You have to finish your statement.
We are. Yeah. We've met Adam Marcus. We like
Adam
him
Marcus,
a lot.
yes.
I'm more of a Hatchet fan.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll say I'm more of a Hatchet fan. Chris is more of the Jason Goes to Hell. I'm part of that minority. You know, that without that hockey mask and Jason, it's not a Jason film. It's a good standalone film, I guess is how I view it.
Adam's been a guest of ours 3 times. He's a terrific guy, really great guy. And I try to tell people about that, 'cause for the longest time everybody used to dump on that movie, but it does seem that now it's a lot more accepted, and that's great because it should be. But as far as the Matt, Jason's, he's not there in the movie, and I just to myself going like, Freddy's not really into his movies either. He's not really there a lot too. He goes inside everybody's bodies and different shapes and stuff like that. And I've always felt like, I don't know if he could, it's Jason, he appears from the first half of the first 10 minutes of the movie. And this is the one thing about Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. Jason gets his ass kicked both those movies worse than anything else in the franchise. Those 2 movies deal him a lot of hurt if he was alive, like nobody's business. I mean, he dies a horrible death in both movies, and able to come back. I thought that was a lot of fun, considering every somehow how it wasn't a real Jason movie. I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, I know a lot of people who feel the same way, but I think it's one of the most original, the originals outside the first 4. The first 4, they're the best. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. I mean, the first 4 films are the best film. But as far as personal favorite goes, I love Jason Goes to Hell and I love Jason X. And the other movie is, are you a fan of Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2?
I think it's a lot more the creepier one. Mm-hmm. He's definitely very, especially when he has the wet look. So I definitely like it for the creep value, but
yeah,
it's up there on my list.
Yeah, it's different, we don't want to keep recycling the same thing. So in that one, he's trying to possess a body and get into the real world. Kind of the same thing. They did a lot, kind of like with same thing with Adam, like you said with Adam Marcus. With Jason Goes to Hell, that's a big risk you take because you're changing the movie dynamic. It's the same thing with A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I know a lot of people don't enjoy the pool scene, because they're like, Freddy would never expose himself, you know, to all these kids and just be out there just.
I mean, it also kind of has the ability where people forget that it wasn't a franchise; it was just a sequel. There were no dead fast rules on what he can and can't do. So for them to kind of explore in part two, oh, maybe he has a different subset of powers that he has to use now. I mean, it's interesting that they kind of chose that direction. Realized, oh, okay, so maybe we should just stick with this set instead of having him build maybe a new powers every movie or something like that. So, for people to go, oh, it ruined the formula. There really wasn't a formula at the time of part two. Once they hit part three, they kind of said, okay, here's the hard, fast rules. Here's the playground to play in. So, I mean, but I do like it. There's a lot of things to like. This the effects in that I think are probably better than part one. Like you said, he's very wet and very gross, especially when like rips off his face and he's like, I got the brains, and like his brains doing that. So I mean, it's interesting. I also, it's just, I don't want to say it's the better of the two. If you're talking about one or two, it's definitely a strong movie on its own. Almost the same way that Jason Goes to Hell can almost be viewed as its own movie.
Right.
But it definitely has a place in the canon, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think the one thing, I see Doc saying here, I didn't think I would like Jason X, but I loved it when I saw it. The theatrical trailers didn't do it justice. Yeah, Jason X is absolutely insane. My two final girls in the whole series are in Jason X. They had so many great lines in that movie. That movie is funny as hell in a lot of places. The only thing I didn't like about Freddy, and this was the reason I liked about Jackie Earle Haley playing Freddy, is they forgot what Freddy was. Freddy was a child killer.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see him going out there dropping one-liners and stuff like that, and everybody's rooting for Freddy, and then what a cat, what a jokester, what a clown. It just really, to me, it really bothers me that they got away from that. That they made him more like an anti-hero. And like, look at Freddy, look at what tricks is he gonna do next?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really give a rat's ass. He's a child killer. That's what makes him menacing. That's what makes him absolutely dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's what made Jackie Earle Haley's performance come back. I mean, yes, he may channel a little bit of Rorschach in there, but that was needed to bring the character, it's sort of like waking you up from the character. Like, he's not a jokester. He's not a funny guy. There's nothing funny about the character. Why are you playing him for laughs? I mean, you should be playing him like the devil that he is. I mean, play him, like treat him as that. That's what made the first movie so great, was there's no jokes. It was just him out there looking for revenge. And that's what made the first movie so damn effective for me. But the rest of them, I mean, I like the New Nightmare. I like that premise, but it always disturbed me that after that they made him into like a clown. It's like he's anything but a clown, so quit treating him like that. I do hope that if they do bring whoever they bring in to play Freddy, I hope they bring that menace back. Like he's a child molester, he's a child killer. There's nothing cute about him.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be stopped by any means possible. I like that sort of, and that's the horror of it. How do you stop something that could be unstoppable? That's the real, wow, I really am pushing it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank our guest very much for coming on in, Brandon and Salem, and oh my gosh, your dog. What's your dog? Oh, I forgot to ask you your dog's name.
Balder was the one that you saw earlier.
That's not Balder there, though, is it?
No, that is little Jeff.
And I'm sorry, I totally forgot your first name again, sir.
I'm Chris.
Chris. I'm gonna have to bring you back and do a panel where you guys, all three of you, after Control Freak 2. I'll bring you guys all back in, and we'll do this again as a panel. And if you want to bring a couple of your other actors along with you, we'd be more than happy to talk to them as well. When do you expect to see the second one? Have you started the second one yet? Have you started filming it yet?
So we're still right. We're still working on the script for it, but we are shooting it 3 months after the first film. So the first film takes place at Halloween, near Halloween, not Halloween Day or anything. So this takes place in December. So it'll be more of a Christmas theme. So we're looking to film in real time. So December onward, which will make shooting those night scenes that I talked about that were so grueling a lot easier because it'll be later out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat for coming out and hanging out. Doc and Hobbs and Merger and Lady Valerie and Tony and who else is in here? And Dell. Dell popped in for a few seconds. Thank you so much for that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to, if you guys just stay there for 1 second, I'm going to say goodnight to the chat. And we will see you on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Speaking of slashers, we're coming back with yet another one. We're going to be talking with director Steve Merlo and we'll be talking about his new movie called Unseen, which features a lot of friends of the show. A lot of the guests that have been on this show will be appearing with Steve Merlo in his new movie. So we'll have a lot to talk about, and that will be at 8 o'clock on Thursday. And just a reminder that we will be on hiatus throughout September. We're going to take a little bit of break and then come back with our battery charge and go get them. All right. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.